Welcome to Brainish English Stories.
That lady in black over there? Yes, that one. She's wearing dark clothes because her daughter passed away, and she feels very sad about it. Are you serious? How did her daughter die? It's a simple story, nothing bad or violent happened. What really happened then? Not much. Sometimes people think that good women are born to be good, and some who seem good are actually not. Madame Samoris, the lady in black, was born in a different way than her daughter, who was a good person. I don't quite get it. Let me explain. Madame Samoris is just a regular lady who came from somewhere far away. She showed up in a part of town where many adventurous people live and opened her home to anyone who wanted to come in. I went there. Why? I can't really say. People go to these places because the ladies are friendly and some men are not very honest. You know, there are people with fancy titles and decorations, pretending to be important, but they're not known at official places like embassies, except for those who might be spies. They talk a lot about their honor, boast about their ancestors, tell stories about their lives basically, they're show-offs, liars, and can be tricky like the fake cards they hide. They're like the fancy group of people in a certain type of place. I find them fascinating. They're interesting to observe, fun to know, and it's amusing to understand them. They're often clever, never boring like government workers. Their wives are usually pretty, with a hint of mischief, and there's a mystery about them, maybe spending some time in a place for correction. They usually have beautiful eyes and incredible hair. I like them too. Madame Samoris is one of these adventurous ladies, elegant, grown-up, and still beautiful. They're like charming cats, and you can tell they have a mischievous side. When you visit them, they host card games, parties, dances, and dinners. Basically, they offer all the fun things of social life. And she had a daughter, a tall, nice-looking girl, always ready for fun, always laughing and having a good time, a real adventurous girl's daughter. But at the same time, she was innocent, simple, and didn't know anything about what was happening in her father's house. The girl was a big puzzle to me. She was like a mystery. She lived in that not-so-good place with a calm ease that could be very wrong or just because she didn't know any better. She grew up in a not-so-nice environment but seemed like a beautiful flower in all that mess. How do you know about them? It's a funny story. One morning there was a ring at my door, and my helper told me that Mr. Joseph Bonenthal wanted to talk to me. I asked, "Who is this person?" My helper said, "I don't know, maybe someone looking for a job." And that's true. He wanted to work for me. I asked him where he had worked before, and he said, with the Countess Samoris. I said, "Oh, my place is nothing like hers." He replied, "I know that, sir. That's why I want to work for you. I've had enough of those people. You can stay with them for a little while, but not for long." I needed another helper at the time, so I hired him. A month later, Miss Yvette Samoris, daughter of Madame Samoris, passed away mysteriously. Here are the details I learned from Joseph, who heard them from his girlfriend, the Countess's maid. It was a night with a party, and two guests who had just arrived were talking behind a door. Miss Yvette, who had been dancing, leaned against the door to get some fresh air. They didn't see her coming, but she heard what they were saying. This is what they said. But who is the girl's father? A Russian, it seems, Count Ruvalov. He doesn't visit the mother anymore. And who is the prince today? The English prince by the window. Madame Samoris really likes him. But her liking for someone never lasts more than a month or 6 weeks. Still, you can see she has many admirers. They're all invited and almost all are chosen. It costs a lot, but well, what can you expect? And how did she get the name Samoris? From the only man she might have loved, a Jewish banker from Berlin named Samuel Morris. Got it. Thanks. Now that I know what kind of woman she is and have seen her, I'm leaving. This news was a big shock to a young girl who had all the qualities of a good person. Imagine the despair that filled her simple soul. Her joy, laughter, and happiness in life were all replaced by mental pain. A lot was happening in her young heart until the last guest left. Joseph couldn't tell me those things. However, on the same night, Yvette went into her mother's room as she was getting ready for bed, sent away the maid, and, standing tall and pale with wide eyes, she said, "Mom, listen to what I overheard during the party." And she repeated the conversation exactly as I told you. The Countess was so surprised that she didn't know what to say at first. When she collected herself, she denied everything and swore to God that it wasn't true. The young girl left, upset but not sure. She started watching her mother closely. I remember clearly the change that happened in her. She became serious and sad. She would look at us with her big serious eyes, trying to understand what was in our hearts. We didn't know what to think, and we thought maybe she was looking for a husband. One evening she heard her mother talking to her friend, and later she saw them together. Her doubts were confirmed. She felt really sad, and after telling her mother what she saw, she spoke firmly, like a person discussing a plan. "Here's what I decided, Mom. We'll both go to a small town or maybe to the countryside. We'll live quietly as best as we can. Your jewelry is like a treasure. If you want to marry a good man, that's great. It's even better if I can find one. If you don't agree to this, I will hurt myself." This time, her mother told her to go to bed and never talk like that again, especially not to her mother. Yvette replied, "I'll give you a month to think about it. If, at the end of that month, things haven't changed, I will hurt myself because there's no other honorable way out for me." And she left the room. At the end of a month, the Countess Samoris went back to her usual parties, like nothing happened. One day, pretending to have a bad toothache, Yvette bought a few drops of chloroform from a nearby pharmacy. The next day she bought more, and every time she went out, she managed to get small amounts of the medicine. She filled a bottle with it. One morning she was found in bed, not moving, and already very cold, with a cotton mask soaked in a strong-smelling medicine over her face. Her special box was covered with nice flowers, and the church was decorated in white. Many people came to the special ceremony. Oh, if only I had known, but you can't always know, I would have married that girl, because she was really, really pretty. And what happened to her mother? Oh, she cried a lot about it. She just started having visitors again in the past week. And what do people say about the girl's death? They say it was an accident caused by a new heater that stopped working correctly. Since there were quite a few similar accidents, it seemed believable.